Next, Kari, Tory, and Grant are winging it.
All right, so what's the myth?
So I'm sure you've seen birds flying in a V.
Yeah.
Okay, well, supposedly they do that because it's more energy efficient, which leads into our myth. If it works for birds, can it work for planes?
So do you actually save fuel by flying in a V formation?
Exactly.
And more importantly, save money.
Birds of a feather flock together. And they also fly in V formations. But does that conserve energy? And if it does, is what's good for the goose also good for planes in the wide blue yonder?
All right, so I think the first thing we should do is go talk to a bird expert. Let's find out if they actually do fly in a V formation because it's more energy efficient.
Then we could get some small-scale models of planes taken to NASA's water channel and see if they do the same thing.
Sounds like a great plan.
It's a two-pronged plan. And to find out why birds fly in a V, Kari and Tory head to Chrissy Field's Bird Sanctuary.
Come on, Kari.
I know you're gonna do that.
Where bird expert Peter Pyle can answer their feathery inquiries.
All right, now, why is it that you see birds flying in V formation?
The birds behind the lead individual, all birds going back in the V, will save energy by flying within the vortices of the wing beats of the bird in front of them.
Now, you're talking about riding the vortex. What does that mean?
Each bird, as it flaps its wing, creates a vortex behind that wing. And the vortex is created because there's a pressure differential between higher pressure below the wing and lower pressure above. And this creates an eddy that filters behind each wing.
So as a wing moves through air, it creates a wingtip vortex. These low-pressure spinning cones of air create upwash, giving the bird behind a boost and making it easier to stay aloft. But do the birds save energy?
Researchers studying this have filmed birds and have seen that the birds behind the lead bird will flap less deeply and flap less often than that lead bird will. So that's the first clue that they're saving energy through flying in that formation.
Okay, so less flapping means birds do save energy flying in the V formation, meaning Kari can start on stage 2.
Now, after talking to our bird expert, I'm starting to think this myth is looking really, really good. But birds are not aircraft. So I'm building a model airplane to take to NASA's water tunnel so I can see if flying in a flap formation has the same benefits for airplanes as it does for birds.
Since planes don't flap their wings, the team will examine the aerodynamics behind a fixed-wing aircraft.
Sand it, paint it, put it in the tunnel.
And after a luminous paint job, Kari's model is ready to strut its stuff.
Love coming here.
Water tunnel? Good fun.
At NASA, Steve Smith is on hand to help figure out the aerodynamics of the V formation.
Okay, model's in place.
All right, so what are we gonna see here?
Okay, well, let's go ahead and turn the dye flow on.
I can start to see it like create kind of a tube.
As the dye flows, it's clear that there is a vortex coming off the wingtip of the front plane.
There's an upward motion from this spiral that's putting the following airplane in upwash.
So being in the upwash of the vortex is creating lift and making it easier for the plane to fly, therefore becoming more fuel efficient.
Exactly.
Just like the aerodynamics of birds in a V formation, the fixed wing also creates a vortex behind its wingtip. And the resulting upwash makes it easier for the follow plane to stay aloft.
Now, how far back could you be and still get the benefit?
So the trailing vortex actually persists for a long ways downstream. In the case of jetliners, it lasts for miles downstream.
And that's the proof of concept that the MythBusters need.
So looking at these planes in formation, this myth is looking really good to me. The dye illustrates the airflow, and the lead plane's creating these vortices. Now, if the follow plane can get in just the right sweet spot, the upwash from those vortices are going to make lift easier, which should translate to having to use less power, which then could save in fuel.
That's the theory, but as the MythBusters know, theory and practice are two very different concepts.
So the next step is to see if this model scales up to full-size planes.
Apparently, flocks of migrating birds fly in V formation to save energy. But if birds do it, can planes do it too? After their proof of concept test at NASA, the MythBusters are ready to take to the skies.
So we've come to the Tracy Airport to test the myth that flying in a V formation actually saves you fuel.
What a beautiful day to fly. Let's conserve some fuel.
Now, because this could be a significant savings, we've got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 9 planes.
9 planes and 9 pilots, courtesy of the West Coast Ravens. Aerial acrobatics is their specialty. And the guy leading them is Tim Cone, AKA Slick.
All right, so you're gonna be helping us fly in this formation to see if we'll be able to save fuel.
Absolutely.
Now, how dangerous is that?
It's a little more dangerous than normal formation flying. We get upside down together in these formations, but we're not doing it in the wake turbulence. So adding the wake turbulence is an element that we've been practicing a little bit, so hopefully everything will work out all right.
Hopefully is right, but it might be a bumpy ride.
Now I realize that this is an aerobatic flying troop, and that I do suffer from motion sickness. But I would like you all to know that I've taken appropriate measures today, and I am not going to get sick.
Grant's motion sickness tablets will be put to the test too. But before that, what's the flight plan?
All right, we're gonna start with the control test. We have 9 planes that are gonna fly in a random pattern at different altitudes. We're gonna establish a set speed of 110 knots. Now, we're gonna fly for 10 minutes, and every 30 seconds, I'm gonna write down a data point for their flow rate, and we're gonna establish a baseline, and then we can compare all our other results to it.
So first up, all 9 planes will get airborne for a fuel consumption baseline.
Feel the need for data.
Your tray tables and seats in the landing positions.
The planes taxi down the runway and take off one after the other.
And we are off the ground. There's a liftoff.
All right, let's start the 10-minute clock now. Every 30 seconds, I'm gonna take down a data point.
With the squad in random positions, maintaining a speed of 110 knots, the control test is off to a flying start.
Flow rate holding around 7 to 7.9 gallons per hour. This is a great control test. This is gonna give us some juicy data. Yeah, you've never heard that before. Juicy data, not just the normal stuff. There's a lot of sexy data we got going here.
Every 30 seconds, that sexy fuel flow is collected for each plane, as they'll test against themselves, not the other planes.
All right, with only a minute to go on our control test, we're getting some really consistent results. We're looking at 6.56 gallons per hour.
And after 10 minutes of non-formation flying, the test comes to an end.
Copy that, stop data logging. Okay, that completes our test.
We made it!
Nice flying, G-Force. All right, let's see if next time we can save some fuel.
Back on solid ground, the results of the control are in.
So for the control test in my plane, cruising along at 110 knots at an altitude of approximately 4,000 feet, as you can see in the graphics, we get an average fuel consumption of 6.6 gallons per hour.
And the data for the other planes is similar. Fuel rate varies, but what's key is that the formation results for each plane will be compared against this baseline.
Now it's time to try out a few formations and see if that makes a difference.
All right, so we're back. We're out at the Tracy Airport to test whether flying in a V formation will actually save you fuel. But we're not just gonna test the V formation, we're also gonna test flying abreast, side by side, and a conga line to see if maybe there are other formations that might save you fuel.
Just like the control test, we'll be flying in these formations for 10 minutes. We'll be monitoring how much fuel is being used. Once we're done, we'll see which formation is the most efficient. Most importantly, to see whether or not flying in a V formation is the best way to go.
This myth is all about the fuel efficiency of the V. But that's not the only formation that could save fuel. For a complete set of results, they'll also test the side-by-side and the conga line. But the first formation for our squad of 9 planes is the mythical V.
Now this is the dangerous part as we move into V formation, because remember, we are flying in the vortices of the airplane in front of us.
All right, let's start the 10-minute clock now.
Flow rate is now 6.8. So right now, each plane is in the other's sweet spot. That sounds creepy, but it's true.
And that sweet spot just happens to be in the wingtip vortex of the plane in front. And although it creates lift, it's also very unstable.
We went a little bit too far in, and we started getting sucked in towards the lead plane. And if you're too far out, yeah, you get no gain at all.
It takes a lot of skill to stay out of trouble, but the West Coast Ravens hold formation.
Wow, collecting data is a lot more fun from an airplane. Here we go. We're approaching 7 minutes, and we've got 6.47 gallons per hour.
After 10 minutes, the test comes to an end.
So we've just finished the tight V formation. And looking at the numbers, it's already apparent that flying in the V formation saves you more fuel than flying without it.
But the final fuel efficiency results will stay up in the air because the squad moves straight into the side-by-side formation.
Okay, so this test right here is going to be side by side, what they call ship abreast. And that's basically wingtip to wingtip. There's no going to be advancing or trying to get in front of like a V. This is basically side by side.
There's some turbulence caused by the planes being so close together.
I have to say I'm a little bit nervous about this one. I don't think I've ever flown this close to another plane. On purpose, at least.
The planes are so close, in fact, that the guys have a clear eye line through to each other.
Yeah, I could see Grant right there. I thought Grant was going to be a little more green, but he's handling this quite well.
Now, in formation, the data collection begins again.
All right, we are about 2 minutes in, and we're using 6.18 gallons per hour.
But being only 15 feet away from each other is challenging their concentration.
Oh yeah, data. Gotta take the data.
I am breathing a little deeper, just trying to calm down, but the fact that we are practically on top of each other side by side is freaking me out just a little bit. Luckily, collecting data is distracting me.
It's a heady mix of data and danger. And after 10 minutes, it's time for the final formation.
Right now we are moving into position to set up for the conga line.
Okay, so this test coming up is what we call the conga line. From what I'm told, this could get bumpy, so I've got my bag just in case it gets messy back here. Hopefully it's not going to get messy.
And that stomach-churning ride is all down to position.
Here I have the easy ride being up in front. I heard Tory and Grant have a little rougher time back behind me.
Yep, because as the planes take their places, it's clear this isn't going to be smooth sailing.
We just went from a nice, easy, smooth flight to a roller coaster ride. Because we are now flying through the other plane's rotor wash, and it's very turbulent.
Oh, whoa, oh, okay.
It's a rotor wash roller coaster in the name of fuel efficiency.
2 minutes in, we have 6.35 gallons.
But the turbulence of this test is making the others look tame.
And I thought line abreast was scary.
Now, here's an interesting thing. The pilot in front of us is getting kicked out, and when they get kicked out, so do we. So it's sort of a thing that you go all the way down the line. It's like bang, bang, bang.
Oh my God. I hate the conga line. Holy crap. Why are we doing this? This doesn't seem safe at all.
Well, after the bumpiest 10 minutes of their lives, the MythBusters can finally touch down.
Okay, and we are down. That concludes our conga line test. Thank goodness. And I'd like to point out for all of you watching at home, the bag is empty, but only just.
Good news, we got some data. Better news, we're still alive.
Back on terra firma, it's time to find out if any of the formations saved fuel.
All right, you guys ready to crunch some data?
Oh, yes, sir.
Now,
And after a bumper number crunch, the results are in.
Now, there is a lot of raw data, but the results from our planes tell the story. Now, all the control baselines are roughly similar, but what's really interesting is the formation flying. In the conga line, the fuel usage went way up by as much as 18%. In the side-by-side, the fuel usage was pretty much the same as the control, maybe a fraction lower, but not significantly so. But then there's the V. Now, both mine and Tory's planes saved fuel. We were 5% and 3% more efficient than the baseline. But interestingly, even Kari's plane, which was the lead plane, saved fuel, which is what studies on birds have also reflected. And remember that all our tests are performed at the same altitude and the same speed, so all our data is good and comparable. And good data is what it's all about.
Good data. That can only lead to one conclusion.
This myth is confirmed. We saw it work in theory in the water tunnel. We saw it work in practice in the air. Now, 3 to 5% savings in fuel actually translates to a lot of money if you think about it in the long term.
Flying in a V formation may save you fuel, but there's a flaw.
Is it really practical that anyone would fly that close realistically? Maybe we should try it again, but this time have our spacing be a little safer.
See if you extend the V out further, if you still get that fuel efficiency.
It'd be a lot safer. Let's try it.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's the MythBusters in planes, flying like birds.
I definitely like science better when it's got a view.
With the V formation confirmed, the MythBusters are taken to the air for their twist on this fuel-efficient formation.
So we are setting up for what we're calling the extended V. Now, this is just like the tight V with one major difference. Instead of being 1 plane length away from your leader, you're going to be 10 plane lengths away. Now, based on our results in the water channel, we should see some sort of a difference. We'll see if that translates to the practical world.
This is a more real-world scenario. The tight V is far too dangerous for normal aircraft, but will increasing the distance of the V still benefit fuel efficiency?
We're about 200 feet from the plane in front of us and the plane behind us. But being this far away, it's hard to find that sweet spot.
With all the squad fanned out in their extended positions, the clock starts once more.
Now, the interesting thing out here is that even though theoretically you should have the same effect, I don't feel like we're flying through someone's wing. It's pretty smooth.
Being in the vortex in the long V formation isn't as noticeable, but you can still tell the pilots have to make a lot of adjustments to stay here.
Maybe, but when it comes to applying it to fleets of passenger jets, this could be a more practical formation.
I'm noticing a little bit more of a variation in the numbers. They were a lot more consistent for the tight V. I'm thinking it's a lot harder to stay in that sweet spot when you're in the extended V. It's harder to find it.
And after 10 minutes of data logging, the MythBusters can bring this myth in for a landing.
And that will conclude your in-flight entertainment on MythBust Air. We know you have a choice in travel, so thank you for traveling with MythBust Air.
All right, extended V formation. How'd you guys do?
Well, you know what? I actually saved fuel. I mean, even 10 airplane lengths back, I was able to benefit from that sweet spot.
In the extended V, I didn't see any savings whatsoever, but I suspect it's from being all the way at the end of the pack. It's just so hard to keep compensating and trying to find that sweet spot.
All right, Kari, you as the plane in the lead, how did you do?
Well, unlike the really tight V formation, in the loose formation, I did not actually get any savings. But honestly, I still think this myth is confirmed for the loose V formation, because if there's even just a little bit of savings for the following planes, in a large scale, that actually translates to a lot of money.
This might be the way to fly in the future.
It's confirmed. So we saw from our data, in the extended V formation, you do actually get some benefit. Not very much, but it is there. And it's significantly safer than the tight V. So if there are any airlines out there, you might be interested in this. Oh, that was amazing.
I mean, you save a little fuel in the V formation with these little planes. Can you imagine if this was applied to airliners?